The virginity is strong with this one. I'm warning you right now, this video is going to be fairly filled to the brim with virginity. It's a top 5 video, first of all. It's a top 5 video. So, you know, I'm trying to get that sweet, sweet YouTube algorithm going. But it's going to be specifically on 5 moves that every single magician needs to know. I know. I know. If any female ever sees this, it's over for me. But you know what? I'm making that sacrifice for you guys. Where is it that you could learn all these moves in question? Well, first of all, my channel, if you manage to look even for a little bit of time, you'll see that I have a lot of videos posted. But if you want to pay, you should check out the Pigcake Magic Academy. 2 videos every single week going over card, coin stuff. 400 videos already. That's like a White Claw in an expensive bar. You could definitely do that, learn some magic. You get access to all more than 400 videos the moment you sign up. So it's not like one of these services that you only get everything that's starting from the point when you subscribe. No, you get access to everything. Oh boy. So today we're talking specifically about the 5 moves that every single magician needs to know. This is my opinion, all right? This isn't gospel. This isn't the word of Jesus of Nazareth. This is me. All right, these are the opinions that I have. So don't think that just because I'm putting a list out here on the internet that this is gospel and you need to go to your Facebook only group and talk about why I'm wrong. Because at that point, you're just retarded. So the first move here that I would say you need to know is a good control. Now, card control, for those of you guys that actually have, it's a way of controlling cards. That's it. It's exactly as it sounds. You're getting a card and you're controlling it, whether that's to the top of the deck, to the bottom of the deck, or to a specific position in the deck. You're controlling the card, and every magician needs to have. Now, me personally, I would have to say the spread call is my favorite way of accomplishing this. You could control the card to the bottom of the deck. You could control the card to the top of the deck with certain subtleties. You could do it all. But there's a bunch, and you're more than welcome to look them up. You could use a little bit of a pass. Some people like a double undercut. Some people like another one that I tend to like is the Mahatma control. The Mahatma control, that's a good one. Now, a lot of people might say a double lift. So a good double lift where you're holding 2 cards as one is a good necessary move. I wouldn't go as far as saying a double lift. I would go more a switch. A switch would probably be your best friend. So whether that's a top change, whether that's a double lift, whether that's some sort of weird odd move from an obscure book printed probably by Harry Lorraine, you need to learn a good switch. With just a control and a switch, you're going to be able to do so much. You're going to be able to extend past virginity levels never before seen. So a good double lift, a good top change, a good switch. Another good one is this lovely retention switch by Marlowe. It's a nice little bit of a hot switch there. That's one that you could definitely get your little disgusting teeth into. And every single person should at least have a good switch in their little arsenals. You know, I remember back in the day perusing through the Penguin Magic forums, and every other forum post was asking, what's in your arsenal? Hey man, what's in your arsenal? I have a TT in my arsenal. What's in your arsenal? And I found that just the peak of virginity. Now, the next move that you need to know as a budding virgin is a good force. A force, if you guys don't know what that is a way of making somebody pick a certain card in a deck. So you're essentially pretending like it's a free choice, but really it's forced, it's predetermined. So with this, you could do predictions. With a good force, you could subsequently introduce the use of duplicate cards. So the same card in a deck, all you need to do is force one. Guess what? You force a little bit of a jack of diamonds, have another jack of diamonds in your pocket, and it looks like a miracle. So there's lots of things you could do with forces. Again, my favorite, I'm partial to the spread call. All right, I'm partial to this little gross move. You could also do the Gary Ouellette touch force, which is a nice little one that comes from a spread. I would stay away from these little things. I would stay away from them just because I have a whole video where I talk about this and justifying the riffle force, but that's one that I would avoid. A force that looks normal, that looks like what you would do if you're actually having somebody pick a card. Those are what I would go for. Now, the next one is a false shuffle, whether that's a false riffle shuffle, a false overhand shuffle, doesn't matter. Learn a false shuffle. False shuffle is, again, exactly what it sounds like. We're not really complicated when it comes to naming our stuff. You are essentially mixing a deck, but you're keeping the same order. So in this case, you could do a little bit of a false shuffle, but really that's keeping the deck in the exact same order that it started. A good false shuffle is needed because that way you could get into stack work. You could get into work with a deck that's in a predetermined order. You could apparently mix the deck up, but you could actually keep the deck in the same order with your mastery of this particular aspect of virginity. Now, you don't need to go overboard. I see this on Instagram all the time with people going absolutely cuckoo when it comes to learning a false riffle shuffle or a false overhand shuffle, where they're trying to mimic and make it look precise. You don't need to be precise. You're performing for lay people. Lay people are retarded. They're retarded. The thought of them makes me retarded. So you don't need to worry about that. As long as it looks good, as long as it looks passable, then guess what? You're going to be good to go when it comes to your false shuffles. Now, a lot of people in this case would say a palm. A palm is a needed move in the world of Magic. A palm is exactly, again, as it sounds like. You're getting a card and you're putting it into your palm. I'm not a fan of palms. I'm not a fan of palms. There are better ways to ditch cards, I think, that don't rely on this little bit. And that's not just because my hands are the size of a small shrimp salesman, but I just don't like palms in general. I don't like them. So that is what somebody might put in this list, not your boy. I'd rather focus a little bit more on peeks or glimpses. Now, a peek or glimpse is when you secretly know the identity of a spectator's card. So if they pick the 6 of diamonds, you know the identity of the card by doing something, whether that's telling them to imagine the card or shuffling the deck. That's another good one. So there's a lot of ways to do it, but you are essentially looking at their card without them being aware of it. I think this is one of the most crucial parts to your Magic, just because you could do a lot. You could peek at the card, then they could mix the deck, then you could shuffle the deck again and have control over the card, all done by simply peeking at the card that they pick. Now, my favorite one personally is the Mahatma control, where you could just simply have a card picked, and in the action of shuffling the deck, you see this little bit right here. Not only is a card control to the top, but I also know what it is because of my dirty fingers. You see my dirty fingers as I shuffle. I can just use my dirty fingers to push that card up, look, and peek at it. It's a nice little sneaky move. So that way you have a control and a glimpse all in one action. Oh boy, I already feel the lack of women. Now, funny enough, the move that pretty much accomplishes everything is the spread call, as I mentioned earlier. With the spread call, you could essentially control a card, you could force it, you could even palm it if while you're sneaky enough and you know how to do a little bit of a cold cop. But a spread call is a very useful move that you could pretty much do absolutely everything with. So I recommend learning that if you want to have an easy control, if you want to have an easy force, if you have an easy displacement, easy way to displace cards in a deck. Oh, fuck. So that's pretty much it. That's the top 5 moves you need to know as a magician, as a budding virgin, as somebody who's trying to introduce a lack of females into your life. I think these are moves that you definitely need to know. With these, you could create an infinite amount of tricks because you could switch cards, you could control them, you could keep a deck in the same order, you could do everything. So find a good version of each one of these things, each one of these categories, and you're going to be good to go when it comes to Magic. Simplicity is best. When it comes to this minimalism, you don't need to have 1,000 ways to do something. Just have one way that works. Oh boy, that's a rough one. That's a rough one. I really hope no female ever sees this, just for my sake. Just for my sake. Hey man, I saw that video you posted the other day. You were talking a lot of stuff that was honestly drying. Honestly, very drying of my vagina. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to do all the things that people do when it comes to videos. And well, just stay safe out there. It's a dangerous place, and you need to be safe. So